Thanks for hopping back on here on Friday on our group. Today we're talking about open houses, business planning, and working through a shifted market. So it's not shifting. I think it's shifted, or maybe it's still kind of, I guess it's always shifting, right? But didn't just start here recently. So what you guys' thoughts on open houses, business planning, or the market today?
Well, first of all, hello, Mr. Dan Hillsman. I'm Tim Lennon. Who else do we have with us?
This is Gordon Day down in Pensacola.
In Pensacola. And then this is Jack Lara, also in Pensacola, Florida.
Well, you guys keep that hot weather. We don't want the hot weather or sand. We don't want any of that.
Well, it's going down to 20 degrees next Friday.
Here in Pensacola?
Yes. Get the coats out. Time to get a coat.
Ouch.
How about that?
All right. So I think the appropriate kind of direction in my mind would be a business plan is the base of it all, and the shifting market or shifted market, and I think it'll continue to shift, is the piece that we have no control over, and the piece that we have some control over is what we do with it. So we've got open houses, and we got a couple experts here. So I'd say we focus on the open houses to start.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Gordon, you want to jump in? Yeah. So open houses to me are today's business. Buyers coming they're still coming. There's still buyers out there. So open houses should be a big part of any agents, in my opinion. Any agent who wants business this month, open house buyers walking into the open house, they are typically looking to buy within the next 30 days to 45 days. You will also find in open houses, you will find potential sellers walking in to see what their house down the street from them looks like, so they know what to price and how their house compares to the open house.
Yeah, and at the open house, that's an opportunity to meet someone new, potential buyer lead, and it's also an opportunity to educate that person to get the inside scoop with what's going on in your local market. So for here in Pensacola, educate them. They may be completely unaware about the interest rates. Maybe that's possible, or don't have a concept how that's going to impact them. So it's a chance for you to have market knowledge in the shifting market to differentiate yourself from your average real estate agent. And that's how you can pick up that buyer lead during the open house.
And Jack, you've done a pretty good job with that in the past, and I think we've talked about this a couple of different times on these sessions. But if I recall right, we talked about guaranteeing a 10% return if you're actually to do these open houses, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 10% at the dollars per hour that we're talking about is pretty significant. So you're up to a 30% plus. And your business plan for next year is to increase that into the 40%, maybe hitting as high as 50%. Is that right?
That's correct. And,
okay.
And then, so if you only do 10, just say you only do 10 open houses, just a Saturday and then the next Saturday, or maybe you do 5 weekends where you do an open house Saturday and Sunday, but it may not pay off right away, but it can pay off. It's almost like putting money in a certificate of deposit. Okay. And then if you do that every month, then every month following, you're going to have a maturity date of those buyer leads and maybe seller leads that will happen 3 months down the road. Then the next, so if you do open house in January, you get a deal happening in February, another open house, the first part of February, you got another deal happening in March. So my business plan is to do, I don't think I have it written down, but we've talked about this in the past when we've gotten together here, is to do 30 open houses. So on Saturday, I'm going to meet a investor who is switching his builder to someone I recommended. I gave him 2 names to check out. So we're going to meet, talk about what we're going to do in January, February. He's got 2 houses supposed to be ready in January. So that's 2 open houses, and then 2 more in February. So that's now 4 open houses. Or I can make it Saturday and Sunday, and that 4 becomes 8 open house opportunity days for people to come in.
Which I think that's a great place to jump off and kind of put a little tickler out there for next week. Yeah. And that's for all of us as well as for the people who might be watching. Next week, we're going to drill into the real mechanics of doing an open house effectively. And I know, Jack, you've just talked about how to set them up. You're into January and February of 2023 already.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts to it. So the first part is identifying the house, getting the right location. But we've got a whole playbook that we've put together, and we've only got a short time today, so we're not going to cover that. But again, a teaser for next week. I think that's a pretty good place for us to talk about the highlights of what the playbook has, and then be able to drill into that next week. So we start with location, right? You have to have the right location and a serviceable market area for you. You want it to be not just your listing that's in the backwater of a subdivision that nobody drives by, right? You can do those open houses, but they're not as productive as houses that have better traffic or easily signs are placed easily to direct buyers and sellers to. You also don't get the marketing advantage of having your name on the branded sign directing them to the open house. Even if they're not interested in the open house, they see your name and the brand.
Yeah.
Location's a big part of it, right?
Yeah, it is. And actually, so two of these, two houses that will be ready in January are off of Main Road in Pensacola, Gulf Beach Highway, close to Naval Air Station, Pensacola. So people are going to see that. And earlier this year, in the spring, I had open houses off of that same road about 2 miles west. So I'll be back in the marketplace there. And then the next two houses that hopefully be ready in February are also off of Gulf Beach Highway. You know, and it's not a super great location because there's a mixture of rundown houses and then smaller houses, 12 to 1,500 square feet being built, but we'll see what happens. And then I have another one that might be ready. It's a resale house in January in a great location off of Summit Boulevard. So lots of traffic there. And then Scenic Highway, lots of traffic there. And it's a nice price point, huge, highly desirable neighborhood in Pensacola.
So what are you just mentioned 3 houses with different varying kinds of quality of the location. Yep. What are the price points for each of those 3?
So the ones that will be off of Gulf Beach Highway, probably around $250,000, which is a sweet spot for home buyers with the interest rates where they're at right now. And then the other one, no more than $350,000, probably $325,000 to $350,000. And it's near other neighborhoods. Neighborhood called Cordova Park won't be too far away from there, so I might be able to draw some traffic from there as well.
So if I were just to ask you the question, that's roughly $1 million plus, right around $1 million in sales, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel
maybe I'll get one? Maybe one of them will turn into getting both sides, right?
Right. Do you feel confident? I guess that's my real question. If you were going to be doing open houses and you just did the number that you did this past year, which I think was 15 over the year.
Yeah.
Right. What dollar commission do you feel confident would come from that? And I'm gonna put a number on it if you don't, but 3% of 2 million.
So yeah, 1.5.
Okay.
So what's that? 45,000.
So 45 grand for some open houses on the weekends. And if I can just kind of talk about the other parts of next week, part of what we continue to talk about is how you improve the effectiveness of the open houses, right? Mm-hmm. Signage is one, location is one. What else you can do for prospecting around the open houses before and after, being able to market properties that aren't your listings, other people's listings, other agents' listings. And you can do that.
To be able to know the inventory at the open house, okay. And maybe hopefully there'll be a few vacant houses within a reasonable time from your open house location. So, hey, after the open house, you want to go check out this house. I just saw it 2 days ago, and based on what you're telling me, it might be the perfect fit for you. You want to check it out at 4:30 before you get started.
Dan, does that sound like something that you could include in the prospecting sessions that agents are doing during the week, the 9 to 11 sessions, calling around open houses?
Yeah, so it'll be a little similar to circle prospecting, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. In our prospecting group, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. yeah, happy to have anyone that's watching this and on the recording also, reach out to us and we can get you in that call group. Without giving the phone numbers right now, you can just hop on my website, my contacts in there somewhere, or calendars in there. But yeah, that'd be a great strategy to call around the open houses. I mean, if I was doing open house this weekend, which I'm not, and if I was being smart about it, I would call all around the open house. So I know one gentleman that built his business up to, as a solo agent, 100 deals per year. He's famous for doing 100 deals per year, and he did all that basically from having open houses, circle prospecting, the open house, and repeat and rinse and repeat. So I'm trying to say. So yeah, the only challenge is it's work. So you have to do some work. So, but if you do the work, you'll get the results. And here's what I've done in my career that's helped me a lot is once I realized that I was gonna focus on the process, not the outcome, and then make the process a little bit better each time and get a little bit better. And also, to just take a moment and take a breath and look back at what I did and then to analyze it and then to tweak it a little bit. So I like to say, action, tweak, and results. So that's the things I'm looking at. My action, tweaking the action, and then trying to get better results and then repeat. So then do the same action, think about what I did, tweak it, try to get better results, and then just continue that process until you're pretty darn good at doing open houses, or you can apply that to a lot of different areas of life.
You get more efficient at everything. And then efficiency, and then study and know the market, more confidence, which makes you even more efficient.
What we're not talking about here is doing an open house. Yeah. What we are talking about here is a whole system for doing open house with a strategy and being proactive on what's the goal. So a real smart guy taught me about 5 years ago, and I ask myself this question quite often. I've done it several times today already. What's the goal, right? So the goal, it could be to sell the open house, and that could be a sub part of the goal. But the real goal for me when I do them is to try to build relationships in the neighborhood. My misstep many years ago with open houses was I don't want to do no house. The neighbor's going to come by and they're not going to buy the house. 100% wrong. Need to meet the neighbors, find out who they are. If you came to my house today and I wasn't licensed, and you knocked on the door and said, "Hey, you think about selling your house?" I go, "Yeah, sell my house. Pretty sure I'm selling my house in about 2 years." So you might want to follow up with me in a year and then follow up with me again. And I'm pretty darn sure we're moving in about 2 years, 2 to 3 maybe. But if I wasn't in real estate and somebody got my contact information, started me sending something of value, and did some follow-up, you could probably list my house in 3 years. I probably wouldn't talk to anyone else if I kind of liked what you were sending me.
So I know we've got just a couple more minutes here. So Gordon, you're leading this thing and you're heading it up for Wednesdays. What do people get when they join us on Wednesdays? And what time do they join us?
We start at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's 11, I guess, your time. And we talk about, in a little bit more depth. Today, we're kind of running through this real quickly. But, we talk about stuff like what's actually happened in the market. We'll break it down. And, I can run through my numbers real quick. I can look at every price point from 200, 300, 300, 400, on down to 900 to a million and million and above. And what are the percentage of homes sold? So knowing stuff like that, we can then come back to the business planning and create something that will actually work for us.
So we'll help agents walk through that if they haven't done an open house, or if they listen like most agents to open house talk and think, I did an open house. I had nobody come in. It didn't work.
Yeah. Or I've even seen where somebody does come in, doesn't like the open house, but they're going to be a buyers, but the agent's not aware that they can work with that buyer. Some agents do an open house thinking they can only sell. The goal is only to sell the open house. And that's amazing to me, but, and we'll, all four of us are probably saying, no, that's not true. It's true, so we need to make sure everybody knows the purpose of the open house.
I think in a way you're selling yourself is what you're doing. I'm the expert. You're lucky to be coming to my open house. By happen chance, now I can help you if you desire my help.
Yep, you're getting in a conversation and building relationships, and nothing happens until you get into a conversation. So you can't really sell a house, generally speaking. There might be that one-off that you did through Instagram or something or text, but generally speaking, can't sell a house or do much of anything until you have a conversation and then build a little bit of a relationship.
And they can't find us unless they know how to get a hold of us, right?
There you go.
So Fridays we do this live. And what's the site that somebody can go to, Dan, for finding this live?
That's a good question, Tim. They could go to Facebook. They could go to Dan's Real Estate Solutions, which that name change is coming soon to Your Real Estate Solutions. And on YouTube, they can find it under Dan Hillsman, How to Build a Real Estate Business.
And individually, they can get a hold of Jack. Jack, what's your phone number?
My number is 850-554-9543.
And Gordon, what's yours?
850-748-0575.
Dan Hillsman, how about you?
Yep, they can just go to dansrealestatesolutions.com. That way you'll have to point and click and look at a little bit of information. Then you can hop on my calendar or give me a call. What's yours, Tim?
Mine's 404-368-2607. And love to have you engage with us. Any one of us, we'll all help you and try and get you to the place that you want to be in the real estate world and selling real estate. And if you're a buyer or seller out there, if you're not getting the sense that we know kind of what we're doing and how to help agents, you can contact us about that as well. We'll show you how to do it, give you an agent that's great. Maybe it'll be us. Who knows? Dan, back to you.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Happy holidays to everyone. This is right around Christmas. So hope you all have a happy holiday, happy new year, and see y'all soon.
Happy
Thanks.
holidays.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.